They leveled my cousin's house for HOA plans, didn't know he's a 2-star Army general. Have you ever wondered what happens when a power-hungry HOA crosses the wrong person? In a quiet suburban neighborhood, a bulldozer roared to life one crisp morning, tearing through the walls of a historic family home. The target? My cousin, General Marcus Reed, a decorated 2-star Army general serving overseas. The culprit? An overzealous HOA president named Karen Whitmore, who thought she could steamroll anyone to push her shiny new community project. She had no idea who she was dealing with or the storm she was about to unleash. Karen Whitmore was the kind of HOA president who thrived on control. With her clipboard and a penchant for petty fines, she ruled the Willow Creek subdivision like her personal fiefdom. Marcus's home, a charming 1920s craftsman passed down through generations, stood on a prime corner lot perfect for Karen's dream of a community enhancement pavilion. When Marcus was deployed to a classified location, his house sat empty, maintained by a caretaker. Karen saw her chance. Claiming the house violated vague aesthetic standards, she sent notices that went unanswered. Marcus was halfway across the globe, and his caretaker, an elderly neighbor, didn't understand the HOA's legalese. Without a second thought, Karen pushed through an emergency vote, secured approval from her loyal board, and hired a demolition crew. By sunrise, Marcus's home was rubble. But Karen's victory lap was short-lived. Enter Sarah, Marcus's sister and a fiery attorney who lived across town. Sarah got a frantic call from the caretaker the morning the bulldozers arrived. She sped to Willow Creek, her heart sinking as she saw the splintered remains of her family's legacy. Furious, she confronted Karen, who stood smugly by the wreckage, citing community progress and waving a stack of HOA bylaws. "It's all legal," Karen sneered. "Your brother should have responded to our notices." Sarah's blood boiled. She knew Marcus wasn't just any homeowner, was a major general with a network of influence and a deep love for that house. Karen had picked the wrong fight. Sarah didn't waste a moment. She dug into the HOA's governing documents, uncovering a web of procedural violations. The emergency vote lacked proper notice, and the demolition ignored state laws protecting military members' property under the Service Members Civil Relief Act, SCRA. But the real twist came when Sarah discovered an unexpected ally. Tom, a retired veteran and HOA board member who'd been sidelined by Karen's clique. Tom had served under Marcus years ago and felt a personal betrayal when he learned whose house was destroyed. Quietly, he slipped Sarah internal emails revealing Karen's ulterior motive had been promised a kickback from the pavilion's contractor. The plot thickened, and Sarah's resolve hardened. The confrontation erupted at the next HOA meeting, held in the community center packed with curious residents. Karen, perched at the podium, expected to bask in her triumph. Instead, Sarah strode in, armed with evidence and a steely glare. She laid out Karen's violations, from the illegal vote to the SCRA breach, her voice trembling with controlled rage. Gasps rippled through the crowd as Tom stood up, confirming Karen's shady deal with the contractor. "This wasn't about community progress," he said, his voice gravelly but firm. "It was about her ego and greed." Karen's face flushed crimson as she stammered denials, but the emails projected on the screen behind her told a different story. The room turned on her, neighbors whispering about years of her heavy-handed tactics. Karen's empire crumbled faster than Marcus's house. Sarah filed a lawsuit on her brother's behalf, citing the SCRA and demanding restitution for the illegal demolition. The court didn't take kindly to Karen's disregard for federal protections, especially for a deployed general. The HOA was ordered to pay Marcus $1.2 million for the property's value, emotional distress, and punitive damages. Karen personally faced fines for her role in the scheme, and the contractor implicated in the kickback lost his license. The HOA board, humiliated, voted Karen out unanimously, her reputation in tatters. Word spread through Willow Creek. The woman who'd terrorized lawns and mailboxes was done. Some neighbors even left for sale signs on her own perfectly manicured yard as a parting jab. Marcus returned from deployment to a bittersweet victory. The money couldn't replace the home where he'd carved his initials as a boy, but he used it to buy a new place nearby, vowing to rebuild his family's legacy. At a neighborhood barbecue, he stood quietly, shaking hands with neighbors who apologized for not standing up to Karen sooner. Sarah, ever the protector, toasted to justice and resilience, her eyes shining with pride. Marcus, in his understated way, thanked her and Tom, saying, "Some battles are fought abroad. Others are won at home." This wasn't just about a house fight, it was about standing up to bullies who hide behind rules and power. Karen thought she could rewrite someone's story, but she underestimated the strength of family, loyalty, and the law. So what do you think? Was justice served? Or should Karen have faced harsher consequences? Share your thoughts. Have you ever dealt with an overzealous HOA? Let's hear your story.